Okay, we are live, back with another live interview. At this moment, we have Unexpected Wonder.
What's
For
happening, y'all?
the record, bro, state your name.
The unexpected wonder. Guru Squad Double Zero, the assassin like no other. Yes, I'm the best at what I do, amongst a couple other titles. But yes, what's up? I'm like what? Seventh division? Is that what I am? Captain of the seventh division?
I'm not sure what seat you are. The captain could answer that, but he's a little busy right now. For the
Yeah, I think
first
I'm seven and Precious is eight, if I'm not mistaken.
seventh wonder of the world.
I ain't gonna say all that.
For the first question, how did you come up with the name Unexpected Wonder?
Oh, I actually explained that on my Q&A #1 video. All right, this actually has some history behind it. I've been on YouTube since '06, so pretty much since YouTube has been around. But I didn't make a channel because you know how back in the day it was different. You know, you just used to watch videos and junk. So I finally made a channel about '08 or something. So my YouTube says, right. So I was thinking, and you know, at that time I wasn't making any videos or anything, right? But I'm just thinking, you know, even the way I just interacted with things, I'm like, in case I make videos or something, I need a name that fits. And I'm like, I don't really know what I'm going to do, and I like to change things up. So unexpected works, and just wonder, amazement. Yeah, so that's kind of how the origins of the name occurred. Just unexpected, and I astonish people, whether positively or negatively or indifferently. That's just how it be, as you can tell.
Oh, no doubt, man. I respect that. What do you classify as a good anime or manga?
What do you mean?
Like as far as like when you read, like when you're first reading something, what do you like? Oh, damn, this is good. Like this is my shit right here.
Well, it depends. All right, so let me see. I'll use 3 examples. Well, actually, I'll use 4 examples of positive, and 2 examples of negative. At least first impressions, right? So the first example, we don't take it way back to my childhood, and at the time, you know, didn't know anything about anime, but Dragon Ball, DBZ, you know, that whole deal, right? I knew something was different about that. First of all, the art style told me it wasn't a normal cartoon. I grew up on comic book superheroes, a bunch of cartoons, and I can go more into that later. But I grew up on that. And with Dragon Ball, DBZ, Goku, and he's just the characters in the world and just the way the story was, I just was instantly hooked. I just knew it was different. It was well executed. You know, I could go more into that. Same thing, similar vibe with Luffy. Luffy was a different kind of cat too when it comes to One Piece, and this was fresh, you know. So that hooked me. I mean, I said a couple. I mean, I could go Beyblade. I mean, that hooked me as well. Metabots a little bit, but a couple more recent I could give Kill la Kill. Especially the first episode 5, especially. This was, again, it was different, it was fresh, it was new, it was revolutionary. I hadn't really seen anything like that. Although they were doing a lot of the same type of stuff, the way it was doing, the dynamic animation of that anime, and then the story, the concepts was quite unique. That's another thing, uniqueness. Shingeki no Kyojin as far as an anime. Manga is a little bit different. But Naruto and Bleach. Now, with Naruto, I remember, and I was of the era where when I was in school, you had the kids running around with headbands on and stuff. Like it was part of the Naruto phase, right? Naruto had got huge.
No doubt.
And you had this little kid. I saw little bits from Naruto. You had this little kid in this orange jumpsuit. He was annoying to me. I thought the orange jumpsuit was stupid. It wasn't Shinobi. It wasn't a ninja. The show was supposed to be about ninjas, and these aren't ninjas. So it was like, no. You feel me? So it was a turnoff. And then, so yeah, as for me, protagonists are big. They're not the all determinative protagonists are actually huge. Bleach. I tried watching episode 1. Now, I've come to enjoy certain parts of the series, of both these series as we go on. But Bleach, you know, the intro is, okay, you got this character, Kurosaki Ishiko. We can see spirits. I've seen that before. Again, Rukia. Rukia was the turnoff for me. I'm not even going front. Still to this day. Like, you're supposed to be a Shinigami, which is a death god, or in this case, goddess, and somehow you lose your powers like that? What is that? That's whack. And then, like, they just threw the character into this world without giving much explanation as to what was going on. So I was lost. I didn't like what was going on. So for me, uniqueness, a good story. I'm all about the story. Good protagonist, and it's a catchy concept. I actually want to delve into the world. If the world doesn't seem that interesting at the time, I'm not interested really. So yeah, it's a multi-layered, to be honest with you.
Oh man, like, you know something, as I came to watch your reviews and, you know, got to know you a little more, you know, I really enjoy that, you know, you're not the bias of other reviewers and other people who enjoy anime that just jump into a series like, oh, this is the shit, I like it. I like that about you. Now, what made you wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm going to do reviews? Because I know you do a lot more than just anime and manga.
Right.
You do real life. You do real life discussions, and you also do series that are actually on TV now. Like, what made you wake up and want to do reviews?
Oh, and I gotta get back in my music analysis junk. But anyways, I'm gonna get back into that. It's just been distracted. See, what happened was, okay, my story, like I said in my Q&A, I kind of explained all this junk. I got into it's interesting how I got into the YouTube anime and manga community, and people don't understand how the effect of One Piece. They think I'm a One Piece fanboy. No, I'm not. It's just One Piece has played a huge role in my evolution as far as anime and manga. If not for One Piece, I never would have gotten a manga because I wasn't interested. It's just that big. It's just I love One Piece. I had caught up with the anime at the time, and it was back in the Punk Hazard arc. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm too much of a One Piece addict at this point. Let me get in that manga. And I just, now it's been a while since I prefer manga over anime. But so I got into One Piece, and I had remembered One Piece from my kid. I didn't get to see much. Even the 4Kids dub, I didn't get to see much when I was a kid. And so I remembered it. I got into it, and you know, there was other people talking about it. Now, that led to other stuff, and then eventually I came on for Neverworld, Manga Mean, King of Lightning, Sawyer 7 Mage, and Co-Provider. I think those were the first 5, and then there was the Phone 999, and then eventually, you know, I started delving into multiple people, started meeting and talking to people. And, you know, there was the common interest, but it wasn't just that. It's dudes loving and giving their thoughts. You know, I kept talking and kept, you know, giving analysis and comment section, and eventually I got a webcam, and I'm like, as soon as I was able to have a webcam, well, before that, it's like, okay, recording, and I might as well give my thoughts, because a lot of times, like you mentioned bias, fanboyism, which 95% of the anime and manga community in general, but especially on YouTube, is like 98%, be biased and fanboyism. And I'm like, where's the analysis? Very few analytical points, you know, not talking about literature, not really talking about it. It's like, if it's not showy, you don't care. So I was against that. So I'm like, there needs to be another side to this. Now, I know Uber Hikari has his thing, but even him at times is biased a little bit. So I was like, somebody got to come out here unbiased, bring logic, reason, facts, and evidence to the table, and actually, you know, bring some maturity to the situation. Because when I joined, like, I think around 2011, 2012, oh my goodness, like, people think it's bad now. The community, man, it was bad. It was really bad. You had that was the age of where Fairy Tail. You had the Fairy Tards raging. You had the Bleach Tards. You had the Nartards. Then you had the One Piece Tard. Like there was a bunch of flame wars, and it was crazy. So yeah, I came in here to try to be a voice of reason.
Oh, no doubt. And that actually leads into my next question. What are your likes and dislikes about the YouTube anime manga community?
I'm laughing because I've done videos about this and talked about this. To try to, it's a lot to me. It's very situational. But if I would give an overall my likes and dislikes, I talk about it really deals with individuals more than anything, to be honest with you. Because at the end of the day, you cannot generalize this community. That's both a blessing and a curse. Too many different ideologies and philosophies clash. So that's actually one thing. The amount of disrespect people pay to other people when they disagree. Okay, that's one of the biggest issues I have. It's like, look. Oh, and another part, this ties in this whole opinion. Opinions are not validated. Views and viewpoints are, meaning opinions rarely have any logic to support them. And my thing is, if you are clearly shown with facts, and people want to just use a little bit of source, but I'm talking about collective facts. If there are facts to disprove what you say, then your opinion doesn't matter. But dudes want to hold their opinions as if they're the gospel truth, and they get butthurt when somebody exposes their nonsense. That's one of the biggest issues I have. I have others, but that's the real main issue I face on the daily. Not only that, when you say a controversial view, and radical, I often play devil's advocate as well, but I often bring in a question for people to actually think. Don't just here's another issue. People want to be spoon-fed. They want the mangaka, the mangaka, the author of the manga, or the creators of the anime to spoon-feed them information, spoon-feed them character development and characterization. And when a guy like me says, wait a second, a character like Luffy is actually quite complex, they're like, no, he's stupid. Well, you're only looking at one side. You're looking very superficially. Look deeper into what's been presented. But no, they can't do that. And there's where the personal preference comes in. What I like about it, it's a forum, it's a platform that we can actually talk. You're able to talk to people from all parts of the globe, which I love. Those are pretty much the two main things that I like about it. There's a lot of dislikes. And people would wonder.
This is your show, bro. Like, what do you dislike about it?
I mean, to say all of them at this moment is like it's hard. But then somebody would ask, well, if you you have all these dislikes, because everything pretty much stems off of those points that I presented about the dislikes. But they're like, oh yeah, and another thing is the immaturity, and there's too many kids. Okay, I'm gonna say this: there's too many kids, not enough adults. There are just too many, and I brought up this issue because I think I talked about, I did about 4 to 6 videos about I think four parts of the issues with the anime and manga community. One of them was there's different camps, some where it becomes religious, some they're fanatic. Some that is like an army, a militia, addicts. There's all these different things, right? And where you have these kids, literally, if you're 12 years old, and this has happened with some so-called reviewers, and I'll get to reviewers as well, but if you're 12 years old, you have no business being even classified as a reviewer because you don't have the adequate knowledge, maturity, nor experience in the world to even give an adequate review. And I'm not talking about the length, because I watch reviewers of all lengths, from the short reviewers to the medium reviews to long reviewers like myself, okay? But when you have these kids, like, there's not going to be nothing but pretty much bias. And I'm not against people who are younger, I'm just saying, at the age of 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, I couldn't have been an adequate reviewer. I'm just saying, I would have been too emotional. That's why you got dudes out here be giving apologies and stuff. That's why dudes be coming out here and be offending people because they don't know how to properly, keep a balance yet. They're just not, they haven't experienced enough in life. You know this, Anti. When as soon as you get out of high school, things change. You experience the real life in real world, and it forces you to change. Because if you don't, you're gonna get into trouble. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've made it clear. This is no, I've said this many times. My issues with Double Four, because to me, he's the forefront of what I'm talking about. And this is not an attack on him. You can go back to his history through his videos. Okay? Like the things he said, then there's the hypocrisy. You understand what I'm saying? That's another thing, the hypocrisy that people will have. They'll, for example, in the recent chapters of One Piece, which a lot actually has been going down. Yes, it's typical One Piece pacing. It's slow pacing. But Bleach has the same slow pacing, which is often worse. Naruto has a worse pacing than One Piece. Hunter x Hunter at times has a worse pacing than One Piece. For example, these recent chapters, which dudes don't want to acknowledge. They will say, oh, and I love the Hunter x Hunter dialogue, but Togashi, not much has happened in the last couple chapters. But in One Piece, you have a bunch happening. But they say, no, we're just going to ignore that. We want to see Luffy. But at the same time, you'll have the same people who say, oh, we just want to see this, this, and this. Say, oh, there's no character development and characterization in One Piece. And I'm like, wait. What do you want? If you want the characterization and character development, allow Oda to develop the characters.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I could agree with you on, one thing I could agree with you on, and a lot of people may not see, is that Luffy, as a character, develops within each situation that he's in. Just for example, look at the fight with Rob Lucci. The man adapted his style during the fight. How many main characters can do that?
He's a fighting genius. Goku, Luffy, guys like Uchiha Madara, Uchiha Itachi, Batman. I could give a list. Hanma Yujiro. For those who are Baki fans, know exactly what I'm talking about. These kind of cats are fighting geniuses. Aizen Sosuke for you Bleach fans. You feel me? Like, Luffy, people sleep on this dude. They do. And you have to acknowledge that that's intelligence. You have to acknowledge it. And they want to say, well, he's stupid outside of... And then I ask the question, for example, Anti, since we're talking about Luffy, what bad decision has he made as a captain? Not as a person, as a captain.
You know something? I could honestly agree. And it was only one time within the series that when Luffy felt he was outclassed, he told his people to run. He was like, you know what?
Twice, actually. Twice.
Okay.
Against Aokiji and against the tyrant Bartholomew Kuma. Only twice.
Right. The man was like, you know something? Shit's not going right. Y'all need to get out of here. But yeah, I could agree with you on that point. Now, for the next question, what is your hardest part about doing reviews? If there is one, because you are the unexpected wonder.
The hardest. There isn't really one, but I guess I can say there's 5 issues when it comes to reviews. Number one, like even if I have time, just for me it's concentration. Like I can concentrate. It's a whole king of procrastination situation. But because I like to go full in. As you saw that one Toriko review where I was straight hype. I couldn't help it. I was hype. But that's just, I like to bring the passion. Okay, I like to devote myself. I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to I want to have my thoughts together because I want to present the best content that I can. And so that's my thing. That's one. Number 2 is actually bringing the energy. Like it goes hand in hand. If I just don't feel like doing something, the reviews might not come out till a few days later. That's just how it is with me. No excuses, but as you can also see, I do other stuff besides anime and manga. And even the anime and manga, I be trying to do various stuff. So it gets pressing, you know. Just doing even 5 reviews in one day, that, you know, it takes concentration and energy. Third thing, the backlash. Unlike a lot of people, like, okay, some cats get backlash, like Code Provider and different ones, these bigger ones. I'm not a large channel, for those who don't know. I have currently like 264 subscribers. But I can talk about later about my place in the community in of itself. But anyways, the backlash that I get a lot of times is unnecessary. It's been that way. I mean, for those who don't know, my channel started off where I was an unknown dude, and this is before I was doing anime and manga related material or anything really. I was getting severe bad comments to the point where I had to block a few dudes early on. So I've experienced that. A lot of comments I deal with on the daily are just unnecessary, and it's like, what the hell? I can't have a different view than people, although everybody can have their own opinion. You want me to respect your junk, but you don't want to respect mine. We can have a conversation, but give me some respect as I give you respect. You feel me? So it's like, come on, bro. Other than that, let's see, anything else? Just keeping up to date. Reading some of the comments on other reviewers' channels is, oh god, good lord. A lot of times the stuff I say in my videos, if people would know the things I read daily, it's just like, what? People, this retarded, literally retarded. And I don't mean mentally disabled or mentally challenged. It's just like, are we watching and reading the same series? I get it. Firefish Dre knows exactly. If he is, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. We've talked about this several times. It's like, wait a second. Oh, you. And then the last point is, people, like, again to this point, people have blinders when they come into a series, right? They bring their own personal interpretation of what their personal feelings. People be all up in their feelings. They bring that to the situation, right? To the sitch. I myself, as a person who comes from a literary perspective, and first of all, you got to understand context. People don't want to acknowledge context. That's number one. But number two, it's like with scripture or anything else, with literature, you come in an open slate, or you at least try to, and you try to allow the world to come to you. You become part with the world. You don't try to impress yourself. It's like, instead of people trying to conquest, you know, people going to another nation and like demanding that nation changes, you adopt, you know, not totally adopt the people's customs, but you learn to live amongst the people. You involve yourself with it. So that's the approach a lot of times I see. Dudes, you know, they like a certain thing, and I'm not against. Look, if you enjoy what you're doing, nobody cares. You can enjoy what you can enjoy. If you're a person who likes hentai or porn, for example, nobody's going to, you know, get you over that. But don't expect the same stuff if you come to a kid show, for example. I know they're the extremes, but they're extremely important to understand this. If you have a series or a seinen, like or anything that's like blood and gore, don't expect to come into a lot of these shonen like One Piece and expect the same content. It's a different makeup of the world. I do want more bodies in One Piece, for example. I keep bringing up One Piece because, you know, a lot of people know it. I do want more deaths, but you just can't have everybody be dying. Like, that's not even realistic. That's not even reality. You feel me?
Oh, I do, bro. I do.
So, you know, so these are the things I deal with as a reviewer. It's not even just for myself. It's for my peers, my colleagues. You know, I might have disagreements with them. Even some of my favorite reviewers. My top 3 favorite are in this order. The Phone 999. I love Phone. I think it's hilarious. I think he's funny. He does bring in facts. I know a lot of dudes don't like him, but I do. I like his style. King of Lightning, KOL. Again, I don't agree with KOL and certain of his personal views on things, but he's a good damn reviewer. And then you have Manga Mean, triple OG Mean, been in the game about as long as anybody else. You know, I respect him, and I can relate to him because we both brothers deal with broke times. It's rough. And, oh, here's another thing. Here's a side note. We've talked about this. It's like where people, okay, they get on you for your video quality. It's like, wait. People don't understand this. People can say it's a hobby, but people don't understand this. A brother over here doesn't get paid for this, really. I do it because I love it. I mean, I do monetize my videos, but you really think I get paid? Does people really think I'm getting paid for this? No, absolutely not. I'm not really making any money from this, if at all. I don't even know.
Hey, for me personally, I'm in the YouTube community, and I don't know if you heard this from me personally, but I'm not in it for the subscribers, which we all do want subscribers, but I'm into it to discuss my theories and my views, and I really like the feedback more than anything. But this isn't about me. This is about you. Now,
no, we're the same view, same exact view on that.
Hey, Wonder, what do you feel sets you apart from other reviewers?
You know, one of the things I gotta say this because I deal with this in life. I don't like. I mean, I'll talk about myself in individual conversations, but as far as how I am, because a lot of times people take what I say about myself the wrong way. I don't like bragging on myself. I'm actually a humble guy, even though people take me my public persona as arrogant. A lot of times I'm not arrogant. It's just you have to be confident in this world as a man, first and foremost. But a lot of times people are so sensitive, you can't be a man out here. You feel me? And I'm not gonna. I can go off into effeminate. They want a feminine type of man, even though people say they want a manly man. A lot of times people want a feminine. They don't want a man. You know what I'm saying? A real man, a natural man, until they live long enough and then see, oh, wait, we actually want men. But by that time, you've emasculated plenty of men. And this is a societal issue that not massively concerned about, but it does concern me because I see it on the daily. I observe it, right? And so with that being said, what sets me apart? Number one, I bring actual analysis. And it's not just in my reviews. Like you said, I talk about real life discussions, which, you know, more is the comments. Just I want to make sure I'm clear headed, especially on those. I want to be clear. I mainly started discussions on stuff on anime and manga before I ever got into reviewing, and in those, I really try to go in depth with my analysis. Like, I remember I made a Naruto as a character video, nearly a 50-minute video. I made another video about, let's see, freak of nature characters. I talked about Uchiha Madara, Frankenstein's monster, Uchiha Madara, and Midora from Toriko. For you Toriko fans, you already know I'm hyped when I say that name. But it's, you know.
Oh, man.
Toriko Acacia. Don't let. Oh, let me not go there. But anyways, for the non-Toriko fans, y'all not gonna understand that greatness. But like I said, I like to be clear with my analysis. I like to break things down because the way my mind works, part of it is I can break down, if I understand it, I can break down very complex things into very simple matters. And I like to do it and to present a different view that people probably haven't heard before. Other than that, what sets me apart, I try to bring in the entertainment and comedy. Don't mind bringing a crazy side. But it's not to the point where it's offensive to people, okay? To where I just be me, and I just keep it real. You know, this is who you see on camera. For the most part, is who you're gonna know in real life. There's no you know, that's me. You know, I'm one of the few guys who's really me when it comes to camera. I'm not saying how many guys, but I'm just saying just entirety of YouTube. I'm a realist. I keep it real. I keep it 1,000. You're not gonna, what you hear on camera is what you're gonna hear from me if you ever talk to me. I'm just probably gonna explain my views even more if we actually talk. So that's my thing. I bring the analysis. Come from a literary perspective, and I just keep it real with people. I'm not gonna sugarcoat or give you BS. I'm just gonna tell it how it is. My views, whether it be on homosexuality, abortion, rape, you name it, any controversial subject. We're talking about even views that I don't even hold, whether it be atheism, agnosticism, skepticism, views about the environment. It doesn't matter. Different views with science or whatnot. You know, I'm just gonna keep it real, and I want personally an intelligent discussion or debate. If you actually know how to debate, because most people don't know how to debate or argue. So yeah, that's pretty much the bulk of it.
And you know something, Wonder? That's what I respect about you. Upon our meeting, you know, me and you have a lot of diverse views on certain series, and you know something. Oh, chill it. Not my baby moms. Not in this. This is about you, bro. You know.
She's black, bro. She's whack, bro. Seriously, come on. You know the truth. Outside of the boob, she's whack as a character. She whack.
You know something? I'm like I said, we have a lot of different views on certain things, and my baby mama's not on the table. It's you. For you.
I had to, you know, I had to throw that jab in.
Overall, if you had to choose, like, and you already pretty much answered this question, but who is your favorite reviewer, like, of all time? Like, this is your go-to guy. Who is your favorite reviewer?
Yeah, phone. Cause see, I mean, I don't really have a go-to. Cause I'm subscribed. Well, originally before I met a lot of dudes, and I generally subscribe to them too. But my list was about 11 deep actually. And the list was, let's see, it was phone, like I mentioned. I had KOL, King of Lightning, Manga Me. Let's see, Forever, which it having a whole history with Forever. Not bad, just interesting. Code Provider. Let's see, Sawyer 7 Mage. Let's see, Uber Hikari. Who is it? I'm trying to remember. Now it's Louis Senpai too, but I'm trying to remember back. I know Sunpatch 94, who I call the happy reviewer, the best female reviewer I've come across. Even though I like Lunar Spiral too, but yeah, Sunpatch 94 is the best female reviewer I've come across. Let's see, what else? There was probably a couple other reviewers, but yeah, as far as my favorites, it's Phone. He's funny, he brings the facts. But see, here's the thing though, what I like about Phone. Phone speaks his mind, okay? And what he generally says when he exposes and calls out people is generally correct. It's like, dudes be getting mad. But it's true. The dude has knowledge of what he's talking about. And I respect that. I do. At times we disagree, but mainly I agree with what he's saying. He just, you know, he tends, and what I like about it is you have, for example, a reviewer, and I'll get to people's thoughts about reviewers, but two things. You have a reviewer like Sunpatch 94. Sunpatch talks mainly about what she likes, a few times about what she dislikes, but mainly about what she likes. Phone, on the other side, tends to talk about, depending on what the series is about what he dislikes. So you have a balance. You feel me? Not every reviewer should be the same. They should be doing what they do best. Okay? You shouldn't be trying to, you know, change your style. You should be learn what your style is and then go with it. You know, I realized I was an analytical guy, so I went with the analytical route. You know, I can't do them short videos. Sometimes before I get into the thing, I'm talking like 2-3 minutes. But you know, but learn what you do. But my thing is, because I know Firefish Dre, I've talked about it before. He brought up about this whole what it means to be a reviewer. Like there's this certain set standard or some jazz like that. And I half agree with what he says when he doesn't agree with it. Now, the reason I half agree is because again, people bring in their personal preference to say, here, you have to follow this rule, and if you don't do it, I'm going to dislike you. Then don't watch their channel.
I feel you.
For example, I don't watch Double Four generally. You know, I rarely ever do. A lot of these cats, I don't watch them. Nothing wrong with it, but I don't watch Elite Ace for his Bleach reviews. It's just not my style. You feel what I'm saying? So you find what you like. But at the same time, I'm one to say, look, man, let's be real. If you, like, Sawyer 7 Mage has mastered this, okay? About these short reviews, because he knows how to edit well. Code, he's getting there. Phone does it well, too. But if generally, and I'm not attacking anybody who does short reviews, if you're just rocking in generally about 5 minutes, I'm sorry, I have an issue with that. Because generally, you ain't gonna get in depth with an actual chapter in 5 minutes. I'm just real.
For me personally, like when it comes down to reviewing things, my inspirations are Siskel and Ebert, who did movie reviews, and they actually wrote for their respective newspapers. Their reviews of some movies actually last like a minute or two, so it's pretty much your preference. And another inspiration for me, who is not a reviewer, but he talks more on a political standpoint, is Bill Maher. Hence, my style of doing the after party, which comes on Saturdays 4 p.m. is basically modeled after Bill Maher's Real Time on HBO. So I feel what you're saying on that, but to lighten the situation, because we don't want to go too deep into reviewers and myself, because this is about you, bro. What is your favorite anime or manga?
No, we can go with no reviews. I don't care. You know, I don't. Me is just an extension. You know, just a part of all this game. Anyway, my favorite anime and manga. Okay, I'll give my top 5 in each, and I do this intentionally because dudes misinterpret who I am as a person. I'll begin with anime. Currently, my top 5 favorite anime of all time. Number 5, Shingeki no Kyojin. Yo, Attack on Titan. Let me tell you, man. The best, as far as anime goes, the best animation I've ever seen as far as anime goes. I mean, and not only that, the styles that they incorporated was magnificent. The storytelling, people says that Attack on Titan doesn't have a story. I'm like, what the hell are you watching? Once again, it's like, what are you talking about? This is one, it's not the most unique, but it's one of the most unique in this era, in this new generation. It's inspired, unfortunately canceled manga, Iron Knight, which pisses me off that was canceled. It was phenomenal. But anyways, they should pick that up again because Iron Knight's the truth. Shingeki no Kyojin, man. Oh my gosh, the characters. Yo, Levi. Those who know Shingeki no Kyojin know Levi. Hanma Zoe. Freaking Annie. Yo, Annie. And then the whole fact is, you had a character, I'm like, I know he's not completely dead because it was too early in the series, but Eren going Titan form, I'm like, yo, that was sick. And just the politics. And I haven't even caught up to the manga yet, but just the politics, man. That's what I respect and love about the series. You got to bring in a political factor generally. Okay, if you're doing anything with world building, unless it's a series like Dragon Ball where it's about martial arts, a little bit different. Now, number 4, One Piece, surprising to people. But oh my gosh, One Piece. Oh, yo, what do I need to say about One Piece? I mean, you got the comedy, the action, the story, the emotions. Yo, the scene with Luffy and Nami back at Arlong Park. My favorite, one of my all-time, it actually made me shed some tears. When Luffy cried, all of them cried, but when Luffy specifically cried at the funeral pyre of the Going Merry, I cried, manly tears. Because it was like, yo, then like you mentioned, Sabaody Archipelago with when they were separated, you can feel the voice actors. Ace's death, But yo, Heavenly Demon, Don Quixote do Flamingo, his voice actor, as of right now, arguably my favorite voice actor of all time. Yo, man, he phenomenal. The voice actor is just the art style actually fits the manga. They expound upon the manga in certain areas. The filler usually is great. It's just One Piece. I could talk all day about One Piece. Number 3. Hunter x Hunter 2011. Yo, that Hunter x Hunter greatness. You know it. You learned that. We told you, and what happened that time?
Hey, man, I watched that series literally 2011, all 134 episodes at the time in 2 weeks. So, yeah.
I caught up with episode 90 in like a week. Like, it was because around there, I think it was around 100. So, yo, I caught up. I couldn't, like, it gave me that same One Piece. And Shingeki no Kyojin was similar, but that same One Piece edition, like, I would skip meal. I didn't care. Like, at night, I was staying up, and I was staying up already all night. But it just was from the Hunter exam. And people say it caught them later. But me, I knew this was different with the Hunter exam, and mainly Kurapika. Yo, Kurapika, the resemblance of Kuro. But Kurapika, man, come on, man. Yo, Kurapika. Let me not get too high. But anyways, and then, you know, it was phenomenal. You had introduction with the Zoldyck. Heaven's Arena, which a lot of people love, it was decent. But it was just a training arc to me. It was some good stuff. But York New City.
Chill. That York New City greatness, bro.
It was my third favorite arc. Then you had Greed Island, which I actually stopped before I got there because you already experienced the greatness of York New, and I knew it wasn't going to be that hype. It was very hit and miss. Greed Island was important, but it's very hit and miss. And I could explain why at another point. But then the greatest written arc in fiction history, the Chimera and Melium the King.
Oh, contain yourself, bro. Contain yourself.
That's not even my favorite arc in it. But then they switched over. I eventually switched over to manga. Yo, the way they did episode 135. They did chapter 318, the first part, Justice, the death. Oh my gosh, the death, yo. But then actually my favorite arc in the series is actually the one the anime is currently in it, which is the election arc. The politics and just the introduction. Jing freaks my foot, yo. People don't know, but he's so good. I mean, Killer was the Hunter x Hunter, the anime, and thank God I got into the thank Christ, man, thank Jesus, because the manga has some great. But yo, Togashi's art, we have to expose. Yo, Togashi's art. Come on, man, come on.
We ain't gonna talk about that 337, bro.
I thought it was 330. Yo, Togashi, what the hell? Like, you can't. The inconsistencies with both Killua's hair and Kurapika. Let me start off with just that, and then I could go off in the other. Yo, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like you said, yeah, we're not going into that. Number 2, Kill la Kill. Yo, let me not get hyped. Let me not get hyped on Kill la Kill. Yo. See, what people don't understand, I'm sexist by no means, right? And there's my views about female. I mean, I have mad respect for intelligent women. But, yo, I want beastly, phenomenal female characters. And it doesn't have to always be about fighting. For example, in a series Holy Land, Aizawa Mai, she encourages and is supportive and is she's a phenomenal female character. But, yo, my favorite character in Kill la Kill, Makan Shoko Mako. Arguably the greatest side character of all time. You have Mato Ryuko. Yo, Kiryu Sasuke, but yo, one of the greatest villains. Even my current favorite, currently, not my all-time, but current favorite, over Meriam the King, Kirin Ragyo. Oh my gosh, Kirin Ragyo. If you know the series of Kill la Kill, you already, oh my gosh, this woman here is what a villain should be. Pure and simple. If Naruto, for example, the series of Naruto had a villain like Kirin Ragyo, Naruto would be 10 times better. The pacing of Kill la Kill is for I've never seen anything like it. It puts One Piece, Naruto, Bleach to shame because it fits in 25 episodes, 3 to 4 times the amount of material in there. If this was a manga, it couldn't be a manga the way they did the anime. I mentioned a few of the characters, other badass female characters. You had Nui Harime Nui, Reiho Amaru, Jakuzure, and then just the characters, the concepts dealing with war, the life fibers. Like there's so much I could go into. Just oh my gosh, just phenomenal. It had the etchy effects, it had the blood, it had pretty much it's the essence of anime. You don't really get a better portrayal of the bulk of anime than you do in Kill la Kill. And number one, you should, you know what number one is. What is number one?
I'm not gonna do it, bro. This is about you. What's your number one, bro?
You know what number one is. Dragon Ball DB/DBZ, and I'll throw in GT2. I know a lot of people, but I don't care. It's anime. Dragon Ball, Goku, my favorite anime manga character. Favorite character in anime and manga of all time. My second favorite character of all time. Right before, man, the story, the Piccolo, Vegeta, that iconic moment, one of the greatest iconic moments in history with Goku versus Frieza. And people don't understand the significance of that fight. You're talking about heritage. You're talking about the ideologies that clashed. You're talking about maturity in Goku to the level of he forgave Frieza. And Frieza, just like, I'm not going to spoil, but Kirin Ragyo didn't care. Frieza's like, you know what? I'm going to screw that. I'm about what I'm about. So deep in the darkness. And it's like I talked recently in a hangout and I didn't get to finish Northside's Naruto review. I didn't really get to say what I was about to say. But there's a time where you can forgive a character. You can forgive somebody. But certain characters are not redeemable. They go too deep into the darkness. And Frieza's one of them. I think Obito's another one, but that's a whole different discussion. But anyways, Uchiha Obito. But yes, and then Kid Buu, my favorite villain in the series, one of my all-time favorite villains. Specifically Kid Buu, but the evolution of Buu, you had Demon King Piccolo, the villains were phenomenal, Master Crane, you had Tien Shinhan, who people sleep on, just the characters, the world building, and there's so much more I want to see that Toriyama could do with the series. Oh my gosh, it started it all for me, and it's no nostalgia because I went back and watched screw the Red Ribbon Army saga, but I went back from the second tournament with the Goku at 15 versus Tien Shinhan, the first fight, all the way through, and I still got to finish GT, but all the way through, it just the story and people miss the beauty of the plot, man. The story writing, Toriyama did. Oh my gosh, phenomenal! It truly is a masterpiece, along with One Piece and a few others. Truly a masterpiece. Now, as far as manga goes, because I actually do currently, and it switched up. Let me do honorable mention as of now, because I love a lot of series. Half Prince, One Punch. There's a lot of series that I'm into, but as of now, I'm coming at number 6. I know it's top 5, but I have to add this: that Kuroko no Basket greatness. And the reason I have to add into that, okay, because a few things I got to say about that. Number 1, I have never been hyped off of chapter 1. That is the first time I've ever read a first chapter of anything that it got me hyped. The Phantom Six Man. Oh my gosh. Like, the realistic... See, here's the thing. People talk about, superpowers is unrealistic. Now, yeah, they do some crazy stuff in it. But even the logic of the series, I accept it because the author does explain it. But here's the thing. As someone who's, lived basketball, pretty much, I started playing since I was 7. I know the game very well. I understand everything. And it's believable to me, first and foremost. But the thing that actually got me to the series, I heard King of Lightning talk about, he made a comment, and he talked about the Ender Zone. I'm like, there's levels to this? I'm like, yo, I got to check this series out. And then I heard from Northside Z, shout out to Northside, and a few, I talked to listening to my reviews, Eric, shout out to Eric too. they were talking about this series, and I'm like, it's hype. And then, the same thing with the Toriko effect, like a lot of several series, I just got addicted to this, and it was like I couldn't stop till I put pretty much all these other series except out the ones I was reviewing to the side, and I just got into Kuroko. And actually, it's amazing because 2 of my top 5 favorite anime manga characters actually come from the series. My favorite character in anime manga is Goku. My second favorite is Straw Hat Monkey D. Luffy. Yo, Monkey D. Luffy. My third favorite character is actually Kuroko, the protagonist of Kuroko no Basket. This dude, man, his kill eyes, like his intelligence, his skill set, like so much you can relate. And number 4, Akashi Seijuro, who Uchiha Obito should have been like, but I'm not gonna get Akashi. No, if you know the series, and I'm actually gonna do a video of the verses between them, because this is what Obito should have been like. But anyways, not trying to expose, but it's truth. I mean, the Teiko flashback arc. This is why I love flashback arcs. Like, this is one of the greatest arcs I've ever read. The games, man, and it's not BS. Like, unfortunately, like against what a lot of people say, Saren, the way they win is not BS. It's heart that goes into, like, the grind, the tolls it takes on people's body, and you gotta understand it because these characters are most of them are freshmen, right? So their bodies, they have phenomenal abilities, but their bodies can't, they don't have the stamina. Their bodies can't hold up to it because they're not developed enough. But just the different characters and just, oh my gosh, man, there's so much. The relatability, I've lived this, and I can understand where they're coming from. The ideologies amongst the generation of miracles, they're called, for example, and Kuroko, and it's just phenomenal. It really is. Number 5, coming in the top 5, and replacing, it was kind of an open slot because I do love Baki and the different Baki series. But coming in number 5, Hunter x Hunter. You know that great. I didn't get to the manga at first. I got in because I couldn't wait. And I read the last few chapters, I think from 314 on, right? Oh my gosh.
Just greatness.
And then the election. Pure greatness. Pure. It is 100% pure. Okay. Yes, it's on every one of these top 5, and actually including Kuroko. These top 6 I'm mentioning are on that One Piece level. They're on that top tier level, dog. They're just the top tier level. It don't get much better than this in manga. It just doesn't, if at all. I mean, Hunter. What can I really say about Hunter? If you're not into Hunter, to me trying to explain it to you is near impossible. Because there's so much I could go into. Because it's Togashi in the way he writes. And to me, this is the better version. This is the level that Yu Yu Hakusho could not achieve. And look, let me say this. Yu Yu Hakusho is a legendary anime. No disrespect. But as a story, and people say, oh, you haven't finished. It doesn't matter. As a story, it's overrated. But Hunter x Hunter takes that to a whole nother level. It's not night and day, but it's like, it's level 5, and that was level 1.5 with Yu Yu Hakusho. I mean, Gon Freaks, and here's the beauty about it. You had characters like Kurama, and you had a couple characters in Yu Yu Hakusho. But in Hunter x Hunter, Gon Freaks, the protagonist, ain't that good of a character. Togashi need to work on his protagonist. I'm just saying, though. Yoshihiro Togashi. But Kurapika, Killua, Hisoka, Gene Freaks, so many Paris Hill, so many other characters I can name. Mariam the King makes the story so, oh my gosh. And in the world, the whole Nin, the most complex power system I've ever seen in fiction history. Like I said, the whole world, and then there's hype. I don't want to spoil it, but I'll just, for those who know, DC, the hype on DC, it's over. It's over.
Hey, all I gotta say, for those who are into Hunter x Hunter, and you know what I'm gonna say, Wonder, Beyond.
Beyond. Yo, Northside got it right. You had to say it twice. Beyond. Yeah, and he ain't even the most hype I'm about. Maha Zoldyck, who we had, Yoda 2.0, Maha, these characters, the Phantom Carolo Lucifer. Anybody with the name of Lucifer, come on, Lucifer. Oh my gosh, yeah. He's not even one of my Chairman Isaac Natero.
Not at all.
Come on. And I've mentioned the others: Hisoka, Killua, Kurapika, man. Yo, man, come on, it's Hunter x Hunter. Not to beleaguer the point, right? Number 4. It used to be number 3 until recently, and I'll explain what happened. Holy Land, the seinen masterpiece. Now, I'm not the biggest seinen reader, but I can guarantee people, nothing in seinen will beat Holy Land. People talk about Berserk, and I haven't finished Berserk, but I can tell you this period. Holy Land over Berserk any day, all day. Holy Land. Yo, if this series was longer, it may be my favorite series of all time. This series, man, I talk about addiction. I've never, literally, I was all day, all night, missing meals. I only stopped to pretty much eat and drink and go to the bathroom. That's all I did. I had to read this manga, Kamishiro Yu. Okay, for those who don't know what Holy Land is, check it out. You can only find it. It's in. I know people love to support the industry, but you're not gonna find it because it's not translated into English. Okay, let me tell you about this manga, man. The concept. It's surrounded about street fighting, but not street fighting how we normally think of. Not that junk you were saying in the Street Fighter shit. No, legitimate street fighting. Okay, where this is it's the opening lines. It's like pretty much a world between boys and men is where they live in Holy Land. And yo, the different styles of fighting. You have boxing, kickboxing, karate, judo, kendo, MMA at the end of the series, wrestling. So many different fighting styles. Kamishiro Yu faces. And Kamishiro Yu, oh my gosh, the what he's experienced in life. Aizawa Masaki, man. Oh my, the issues. For those, I don't suggest it to anyone who's actually under 18. Anyone under 18, I don't suggest reading it because it's not like it's the worst thing ever. It's not like it's got an over maturity or nudity or nothing like that. But the issues that it dealt with, I don't think 17's pushing it. Younger than 17, you will not be mature enough to deal with the concepts in this series because it deals with drug abuse, substance abuse. It deals with bullying. It deals with suicide. It deals with gang violence. It deals with so many issues that teenagers face. Okay, it's real. And if you've not gotten into the series, get into Holy Land. The art style, it's gritty, it's dark, it's mainly at nighttime. Kamishiro Yu, he starts fighting. He goes and he had no place where he belonged, and he starts to fight to survive. But he starts getting a rep, and he has to continue to fight because they come at him. And eventually, he starts getting major rep. And in the spiral, that it goes on. Then you have characters like Shogo. Oh my gosh, the Dark Prince of the Streets, the Kings of the Streets. The king. Yo, the final villain. He doesn't even have a name. All his name is his king. Okay, just an example. I mean, yo, Taka. Just these characters, man. Like, I could go all day. I've done reviews on Holy Land, and it just and here's the beauty of it. The author, he explains all the moves in fighting that happens. The fights, they're so intense. They're short. They're realistic. Like, this is completely realistic. It doesn't get more realistic than this manga. People talk about slice of life. No. This is life. You live with the characters. I already talked about Aizawa Mai. She's from the series. Kids, I mean, gosh. And what's the beauty about it is because these are high schoolers.
Damn, really? This
No,
sounds like a really. It sounds like a really epic series, bro.
I don't hype junk up if it's not legit. This series, man, and if not for these other series, it would be my favorite series of all time, or and or at least in the manga, right? Number 3, it was number 4 for the longest. You know it. We already mentioned it. Toriko greatness. Yo, that Toriko greatness. It's over. Yo, I cannot describe Toriko. If you're not into Toriko, it's like Hunter x Hunter, but I won't even try to describe. You just have to get in the and please, people say the anime. I'm just gonna tell you from my perspective, the anime is absolute trash compared to the manga, and it's not. There is mess ups along the way at the end, but my point is that I don't generally say is this: the manga is just on that level of greatness that the anime can't even compare. I'll tell you this truthfully. I tried it because I was King of Lightning and a few others kept talking about Toriko, right? And so I'm like, you know what? Let me try this out. I couldn't finish the first episode. Now I've seen some other episodes of Toriko, but I couldn't finish the first episode because it made him seem kind of gay and Komatsu seem kind of like it threw me off. But I got into that manga, and it's another one I got addicted to. I mean, the concept completely unique. Okay. The whole thing, oh, it's about food, it's about food. Wait a second. What? That is one of the most, if not the most important thing in life. Food and water. The fact that it's about food, that actually caught my attention. You know about the cooking, Anti.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
It's unique. Now, there's another manga that's come along, Soma.
Wait a minute, before you get into that, I just want to ask you a question like this. Does the Dark Continent in Hunter x Hunter remind you anything of the gourmet world, bro?
Let me tell you the truth, Anta. I keep saying this. I believe Ichiro Oda, Yoshimuro Togashi, and Mitsutoshi all talk. They're all friends and they all talk. Because the New World, the Dark Continent, and it all at the same time, and the gourmet world, too similar. Their stories are too damn similar right now. Different styles, but too similar. They're all pushing similar things. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I believe they're all doing something for a reason. Okay? They're all doing this for a reason. At the same time, and it's the funny part, Togashi took a 2-year hiatus, right? I think that was partially intentional. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was partially, they're all coming at the same time. Come on, man. No, that's too coincidental. I don't buy it. Considering especially the relationship that Oda and Togashi has. So, I mean, and Mitsutoshi and Oda, I'm just saying though, I love it. I love all 3 of them series, so I love it. No copying, it's just too similar. The gourmet world, I mean, before you get into that, the 4 heavenly kings, that name alone, and these abilities. See, here's the beauty about it. Every single one of the relevant characters has a different skill set, different abilities, different fighting style. I thought, I won't spoil it, but Midora, I thought he was gonna be like Sonic. Oh no, don't tell me you had to be. Well, first of all, I was shocked by his face, him and Starjin. But yo, what was shocking was his abilities. You know what I'm saying, Anti? You couldn't have guessed that. And I don't think that's all he's got. I think he's rocking way more. But the world building, it's on that level of One Piece, where it's the flip side, where One Piece focuses mainly on the characters and then gets into the ecology. Toriko, it does great with the characters, but focuses mainly on the ecology. I've never seen a more intricately developed world. The outlanded, like the over the top gourmet world, but then he explains it. Mitsutoshi even scientifically explains stuff. Yeah. I mean, the creatures, man, the creatures. Most of some of these creatures in other series. Oh god, good lord. These creatures. Oh, people talk about the QB and the Juby. Oh no.
Hey, when it comes down to the QB and the Juby, all I gotta say is, Battle Wolf.
Heracles, and we haven't even met all. We don't even know of all 8. of the King Bee speech. But I don't want to spoil too much. But so many things. Grandpa Stajan. You can't say Stajan, it's Stajan. Okay. Acacia, the god of the beach. Yo, man, this dude. I tell people straight up, when he returns, because he's not dead. When he returns, I will be shedding manly tears. People don't know. If you're not into the series, you don't know the significance of this. It's a very similar significance to when and if Goldie Rogers shows up in the series, but probably even more so because of the way Acacia plays a role in the series. Okay, just there's I could talk about Toriko all day.
No doubt.
Trying to sum up Toriko, it's just. Shige, former vice president Shige, you knew this dude was a monster when he had that cut like Zoro, it's just it's manly. You had the Shoku. Hold on, let me talk about the arcs. It was hype. You had the Regal Mammoth arc, the Jewel Meat arc. I was hype, but the arc that changes the game, because there is always that arc that changes the game, right? The Ice Hell Continent arc. Some people call it the Century Super arc. No. I prefer the Ice Hell Continent arc. Come on, man.
Pure, unadulterated epicness. That arc.
That just started the game, though. Then we go later. Let's see. How does it go? You had Honey Prison but that wasn't really epic. You just got Zebra release. You had the Gourmet Pyramid arc. Oh my gosh. You have, let's see, the Gourmet Casino arc.
Oh, that was crazy. Dog. Hold on, before you even that game, bro. That game.
The game of death. That's what I just called it, John. Live better. Live. Come on, man.
Who turned out to be an epic chef, bro. He's an epic chef.
Exactly. And Coco. Coco's hitch. We need to know about Coco, dog. See, we need to know about these 4 Heavenly Kings backstories. Especially Toriko, but the rest of them, Coco, my second favorite character after Toriko in the series. But then, you got Shokurin Temple arc. Come on. Lady Chiyo. The bubble fruit, never would
you know something. I don't mean to cut you off again. This is about you. My favorite arc is the bubble fruit arc, bro. A lot of people sleep on that arc, but that's one of my favorite arcs. The bubble fruit, bro.
Yes, the bubble fruit. And never would I have imagined that a dude that was sparkling and that comeback. It was like Goku Return. You remember when Goku arrived on Namek, or Goku's arrival on Namek? I got that same chill. It was literally a chill, that vibe. When he showed up, I'm like, yo, Toriko, what happened, dog? what happened, dog? You weren't the same person. Yo, Toriko, what you been on, dog?
Hey.
This ain't natural. And then, with that, then the 4B started. The 4B started. And dudes were saying Appetite Energy was going to be keep one. I'm like, please, with Dragon Ball, no. I'm like, they didn't understand what was going on. But then, one of the greatest arcs of all time, you know it.
Don't say it, bro. Don't say it.
Cooking Festival Island arc.
Festival, bro.
People kept talking. I don't understand this. People kept talking about this arc, right? And I'm like, why are they? I'm catching up. I'm like, why are they? Because the name doesn't sound hype, right? I'm like, wait. And I don't generally judge by a book by its cover, but I won't spoil the fights in there. And then it eventually led to the meeting of the two brothers. And like I say, I don't. Oh my gosh. And then after. That chapter 263. Don't say it inside. 263. The build-up of creatures. And then the reveal. But then we move on. And Troll King of the Nitro Chi-Chi. But this, what put it over the top for me over Holy Land? Finally, it was Brinken, but it was building up. And I didn't want to say it. But chapter, what was it, 286? Was it that? The
Blue's
greatest.
Awakening, bro.
It's, don't spoil it because I don't want to spoil for those. If you know the series, and plus they won't understand it. If you know the series, you know the significance. It completely changed the game. Some of these moments I've mentioned changed the game, but sometimes when you're viewing something that it completely changes the game. It changes the history of something, and this is a moment. I can say this from an anime and manga review person who's into it. That moment is one of those moments that will change anime and manga forever. And people want, what do you mean? It confirms it 2 parts. It confirmed what I've been saying for the longest, that I believe end of series Toriko characters, I'm talking about the top tiers of Toriko, will be the most OP, will likely be, let me clarify this, will likely be the most OP hacks characters in anime manga history. People don't understand what that means. These characters, their foreshadowing makes no sense. It doesn't. And when we see some of these other dudes, I won't spoil it, but when we see some of these other dudes, I think you know what I'm talking. People will know what I'm talking about. They don't see what I foresee. I've been into too much fiction to know what the significance of that chapter means. Not only that, there's a couple parts to this part. It deals with Toriko himself. I had actually the whole thing with his blue hair. I've been wondering that for the longest time. I'm like, you know how in other series you just kind of accept it? I'm like, something's off. He shouldn't have blue hair. What's up with that? Something was off about that. I don't know why it was. It was just a kind of a instinctual feeling, instinctual observation. Like something's up. He shouldn't have blue hair. Sonny's hair was explained. Coco and Zebra don't have crazy hair, but he has blue hair. I'm like, what is that? And it wasn't like some kind of light blue or nothing. It was just this dark blue. It just was weird. But then Toriko. And while the rest of the four Heavenly Kings, you have Sonny with his hair, you have Coco with his poison, Zebra with his sound, right? Mm-hmm. Toriko had no abilities. I mean, he had abilities, but no, like, special, trademark abilities.
Well, you got to understand something. I'm going to stop you right there, bro. His sense of smell is Toriko's thing.
Yeah. They all had senses. Coco has the eyes, Zebra has the hearing, and Sonny has the touch. And I guess you could say Komatsu has the taste, but no. But he didn't really use that in battle, is what I'm referring to. You feel what I'm saying? Like right. He used it with the leg boomerang. What I'm saying is, with his smell, it wasn't like a whole skill set based upon that, right? So right. He was just doing things. Like he was just using punches and techniques. But while the rest of the four Heavenly Kings had specific skill sets, he didn't have one. Like, you trying to tell me other characters in Toriko couldn't somehow have developed a similar thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, Stajin's different, but he kind of has similar, the way he fights is similar. Toriko now has specifics. And the way this happened was like anything that reminds me of the symbiotes from Spider-Man. Anything, I'm hyped instantly. Because that's just like, and the fact that it was separate. These are separate entities. Like people were saying, Hollow Ichigo, right? Mm-hmm. No, it's not that. It's not that. But I don't, like I said, I don't want to spoil too much by mentioning it. But like so much about Toriko. Then my top 2 series. Number 2, Magi: The Labyrinth of Magic.
Oh man, I hear you talk about this shit a lot. Like, go in, bro.
People. Magi. Oh, gosh.
And you know what I find funny about that series? There's so many different pronunciations for it. Some people call it Magi.
They call it Magi because of probably the anime. I've actually never actually watched the anime, which is surprising, right? I've never actually watched the anime. I got into the manga. And at that point, I had kind of transitioned from manga and anime anyway, but for the most part. But the anime, I don't know. It may be good. I'm not knocking it. But I also heard that they started altering it. And I'm like, no, screw that. I can't stand when you start altering the story. I don't believe in that. Get that nonsense out of here. That's the problem I have with the ending of the first season of Attack on Titan. I heard that it was altered. I don't like that. That irritates me. You can add in stuff, but you don't alter. You do not alter because it messes with people's perception of the series. Toriko's anime, the way they finished off, was absolutely ludicrous. It's disgusting.
You know something?
It literally made me want to throw up.
The intro to my videos now was that last fight of Toriko, and I watched the first episode and the last one, and it totally off puts the series. Like, that's why I stopped watching anime, because I don't like filler. I hate filler. Like,
I don't mind filler, but like if it's One Piece, not always, like the Amigo Pirates suck, but One Piece filler actually adds to the story. Like the current filler arc, the Peto Peto, like the Kung Fu Dugong. Yo, the Kung Fu Dugong was brought back, and it expanded the world, because we had already heard. Sorry, this is off topic, but we had already heard about all living things could do hockey. This could somehow he learned. I know it's not canon, but I know Oda's gonna incorporate it, right? Somehow he learned hardening armaments hockey, and it was actually good. The arc, for what it was really good actually. And it actually gave some more explanation on some things that you didn't get in the manga, by the way. But you know, that's One Piece. But anyways, yeah, I feel what you're saying about filler. Most filler. That's why I never got into the Bleach. Also, that's why I can't watch the Bleach anime, because too many dudes. Like I had a dude. He told me like whole entire chunks is filler. I'm like, screw that.
Yeah. You know what? Tell you the truth about Bleach. That's what made me not a fan of filler, because at a certain point I realized, like, what the fuck does this have to do with the story? 1 minute they're in an arc, and then the next minute they're in school, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then I found out that the manga was still going on, and I continued to read. But continue, bro.
But oh yeah, and since you brought up about Bleach, why do you think another reason why I could never really get into Naruto? You know about the filler. Naruto is infamous. It's the worst abuse of filler. They have canon material, and they'll drop another month of filler. And most of the filler ain't even that good. And this ain't me talking. I'm hearing from Naruto fans themselves telling me this, yo. Like, come on, though. Like, the arcs, like, it made no damn sense. I'm sorry, this is off topic, but this made no damn sense that you in the middle of a war, and they throwing in filler arcs. But they kind of partially got to do that because Kishimoto, the pacing that he goes at is terrible. It's all the flashbacks that nobody wants to see. let me not go off on that. But anyways, back to that Magi greatness. See these last three. Let me tell you that the Holy Land, Toriko, beyond pure greatness. Magi. The level of writing of Eiichiro Oda, Shinobu Otaka. What makes it so beautiful? Let me talk about Otaka for a second. And I started reviewing, I think, 5 chapters of video, like from 1 to 75, right? And then eventually I stopped and eventually started reviewing and what's called the Magnos. Well, I call it the Magnos Star War arc. It was like around or the end of the arc, right? It's like 190, a little bit before 200, chapter 200. Anyways. And I've been here and there with reviews of the series. What's the beauty of it? Let me just start talking about the author, right? I kept giving this dude, right, credit. When I found out it was a woman, the way she understands the male mind.
I've heard so much about that.
Aladdin, I'm telling you, I thought it was a man. Like, you don't know how much respect I have for this woman for that. Because there really isn't that many female characters, first and foremost. Like, Morgiana, oh my gosh, Morgiana. Let me stop before I go there. But it's like, because, let's see, Aladdin and Alibaba, and then grown men, it's like, you can tell, first of all, she's mature. This is a grown woman. Not only that, you can tell she's spent time dealing and learning about men. And not only that, none of it's really negative about males. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say there's females who hate men out here, but you'll have a lot of times there'll be a bias towards males, not in a positive light a lot of times. I've noticed that when females are involved with it, not trying to be sexy, I'm just being real. I've seen this a lot. And the fact that the male characters are so complex, the fact that all the characters are so complex, the world building, yo, it's on that One Piece level. The storytelling is One Piece level. And I say One Piece level because I have One Piece at that top. Like, it's like the example, especially of this generation, okay? It's the example. I mean, yo, there's characters like Simba, and the fact that, and I figured this out early on, she uses 1,001 Nights, which are, we often know as the Arabian Nights. She uses that as influence. This is a Japanese manga that use a lot of Persian, Arabian themes, right? The depth of the story, the depth of the concepts, the psychological, mainly the philosophical concepts, the politics. This is the best usage. People talk about Togashi. Read Magi. If you want to talk about politics, and oh my gosh, the politics, man. The story starts off, and I was hooked from the opening arc of the story in the way that it just goes in. And this whole Jin and the different abilities and the different people, you have the Magi, you have the magicians, you have the kings, and you have what are known as the Fonalies, just a whole different types of people, and you have this whole Amatoran separate world and King Solomon and all this. But chapter 10 or so, when Morgiana, this is what put me up on the next, and I was instantly hooked. The character Morgiana, she started running and climbing walls. Like, her feet stuck it literally went into the wall, and she ran on the wall. She was that strong. I'm like, wait, what the hell? And then later on, we see in the Balbat arc where we start seeing the actual magic. I'm like, yes, it's legitimate magic. It's not no fairy tale nonsense. And no BS. I've read another series that shows legit magic. But, I mean, there is so much complexity. I said this, One Piece has at least 8 subplots, right? Magi has double that. There's so much, like at least 16 subplots, 16, 20 subplots. There are so many subplots in this series. Each chapter pretty much is hype. I mean, she goes in so deep. She does what I want an author to do.
Nice.
She just goes in deep. And then number one, not to go too deep into Magi for those, cause especially since you haven't read it. It would be hard to explain if you haven't read it. Because even those who haven't caught up, and they're only like an arc or two behind, or 3, if you're only at the anime season 2 end, you have no idea what's waiting for you in Magi. You don't even know. It's like you've experienced it, but you don't even know that. you really don't even know. But anyways, like that's how crazy the story is with its plot progression. And then its flashback arcs. Oh my gosh, the flashback arcs. I couldn't believe I was this hyped for a flashback arc. And this before I read Crocodile. But anyways, One Piece. Number 1, you already know. One Piece. Oh my gosh. The reason I've talked about these other series at length is because probably a lot of people haven't gotten into it. Me trying to explain why I'm into One Piece is near impossible in a short amount of time. I've talked enough in Hangouts and live discussion. I've done enough videos on One Piece on my channel. I've done, me trying to talk about One Piece. We could go 4 hours and that won't even. We could go all day, literally all day, and I could talk about One Piece. It's not. Let me just put it this way. One Piece, people throw around the word masterpiece too casually. I don't throw around the word masterpiece casually. Masterpiece, to reasons why. Number one, Masterpiece is supposed to be creme de la creme. Like, it's the best of the best. You don't get higher than this, right? Number two, Masterpiece is why people talk about, part one of Naruto is a masterpiece. No, it's not. It doesn't even qualify as a masterpiece for several reasons. Regardless, One Piece is a masterpiece because a masterpiece is supposed to be the artist's best work. It's like if you go back to the Age of Guilds, when they were starting off during the late medieval, right before the Renaissance period, the late medieval period. You had the era of towns and all that in medieval Europe, right? Mm-hmm. In order to become a master, you had to present. If you were a journeyman, there was a process. There was the apprentice, then there was the journeyman, then there was the master. And in order to become a master, you had to make a masterpiece, and it had to be satisfactory. Because if you didn't pass, and you remained a journeyman. One Piece is on that level. I keep telling people, keep talking about, it's a shonen battle. No. One Piece, I extend it beyond simply manga. One Piece is one of the greatest adventure stories adventure stories of all time. It is amongst the classics. You have what are some of the classics I always mention? Gulliver's Travels, Treasure Island, Count of Monte Cristo, and number one I mainly mentioned, Robinson Crusoe. One Piece is on that level.
Damn, bro. You put Absolutely. One Piece on that level, bro?
Absolutely. I always say it. If you read this story, you don't get better world building than what Eiichiro Oda has done. People say there's no characterization and character development. Let me expose this myth. Never have I seen, first of all, this cast of characters. I don't believe you can get more cast of characters than this. I don't think it's possible. The amount of characters that Oda has introduced is nearly unfathomable to me. And the fact that even minor characters, forget secondary characters like a Shanks, Red Hair Shanks, like a Don Quixote Doflamingo, forget those. Minor characters. You remember the treasure box dude? Dudes bring him back up, and I forget about him, but the treasure box dude.
Yeah.
Even he got characterization and character development. Even someone seemingly as insignificant as that. Even Karu. The kind of rubber ducky looking duck, Vivi's pet.
Yeah.
Even that character, an animal, got character development and characterization. People trying to tell me they don't have characterization. What? No character development? What? It's the beauty of what Oda's done. He's distributed it. He's distributed it amongst so many characters. The beauty that he's done with Luffy, I could talk about Luffy all day, is that unlike almost, especially in shonen, but pretty much any protagonist you will come across is a dynamic character. Luffy breaks the mold that he's a static character. Now, I tried to explain this, but dudes weren't having it in one hangout. They didn't want me to go in. The beauty about that is Luffy's characterization and character development is going to be much different than characters, for example, how Uzumaki Naruto, Gon Freaks, even Kurosaki Ichigo to some degree, just for famous reference. Toriko, I'm not. I guess you could say Toriko's a little bit different, but most characters, especially protagonists, are dynamic, that are significant, right? And so are most characters in One Piece. Usopp, for example. With Luffy, he's a static character. He comes in as a pre-packaged character. Toriko was kind of the same way, but a little bit different. Luffy, we already knew what we were going to get early on. But as time goes on, and I won't bore the people with the characterization and character development, but he gets that very subtly. You have to pay attention. Oda forces you to pay attention to him. Because if you don't, it's like I said earlier, people are going to take him as pretty much a dumbass, as stupid, as rash. But what I say is, he's one of the most philosophical characters in the series. A lot of people had a problem with him on Fishman Island. He didn't care about racism. Actually, that's not factual. Luffy's already showed his views on racism a few times, right? Mm-hmm. He showed that back at Sabaody, exactly. Actually, he showed that with species and stuff, with the fact that he doesn't care who you are. He showed that with Chopper, Tony Chopper. He accepted him off rip. On Thriller Bark, it was comedic, but he almost accepted some of those like just random tree dudes. Brook, everybody else was, you know, had a problem. Either they were scared or they had a problem. He accepted him off rip. What's something? Kung Fu Dugong. On Sabudi, you had what's her name? The mermaid chick. Oh wow, I can't believe. But it doesn't matter. The fishman, he accepted him. He doesn't care. You know, he doesn't care. And that's the thing. He brings in a lot of situations. Now, this is what he differs from me. He just doesn't care. That's what people don't understand about his character. He doesn't give a damn. Like he's on his principles, and that's how he sees the world. He does. This is why he talks about being Pirate King. He describes it as freedom, being the freest man on the seas. Right? He does the things how he wants to, when he wants to, the way he wants to. And if you try to get in that way, if you try to get in front of freedom, it's all screw it. He's going to come at you. And if you try to get, you know, go after his Nakama, there's just certain ideologies that he has. And I did a video, I've done other videos, but 7 sides of Luffy. Well, I thought there was 5, but I was picking through thumbnails and taking a kind of collage of pictures, and I realized how complex Luffy was. Now with just Luffy, I mean, I'll just give my top 6 because I have a top 10, but I don't know what in order. But my top 6 favorite characters in One Piece. Number 6 is Rob Lucci. The whole Dark Justice assassin vibe. I mean, the battle, the death match, the legendary match between him and Luffy in Enies Lobby. Oh my gosh. Number 5. Heavenly Demon Don Quixote Doflamingo, aka Joker. Doflamingo as a villain. Now, he wasn't a villain until this Dressrosa arc, but for the way, I mean, Doflamingo's so complex as a character. If you don't believe Oda can make complex characters, then you have not read up on Doflamingo. Number 4, Dracula Hawkeye's Mihawk. I want to learn so much about Mihawk. This dude and his design. I mean, this dude doesn't have a sword. People talk about Guts, his sword, right? From Berserk. This dude carries a crucifix. I think this dude is half vampire. Like, this dude. Number 3, red-haired Shanks. Do I need to talk about Shanks?
Nah. Oh, but before you finish that, I gotta give a shout out to Charles's Anime World, who said Wonder is going in.
Hey, that's what I do. Hey, what's happening, Captain? What's happening, Charles? Number 2, Pirate Hunter Roronoa Zoro. Zoro. Now, I got to talk about Zoro. And number 1 is Luffy. Straw Hat Monkey D. Luffy. And I've talked somewhat about Luffy. But Zoro, let me tell you why about Zoro. Zoro, my favorite thing about Zoro is the fact that he represents loyalty, okay, which is one of the highest values that I actually hold. Not only that, Zoro, I mean, Santoryu. The first time I saw that, I'm like, what? This dude's a badass. The fact that it's Ashra killed Toryu, his demons, like this dude is a demon inside of him. The fact that Zoro, he's, I mean, you had Dark King Silver's Ray, who's actually in my top 10, but Zoro is the only one. Like, dudes, you know, Luffy values dudes' expertise. Like, he's a phenomenal leader for that because he recognizes. But Zoro is the only one, when it comes to decision making, that he will legitimately listen to above all else. When Zoro says something, Luffy listens. Like, if Luffy's doing something wrong, Zoro corrects him. We saw that in Water 7. We saw that Punk Hazard. When he's like, Luffy, this is the new world. You better better stop messing around, screwing up, or we're gonna die. On Enies, Water 7 with the whole Usopp situation, he's like, Luffy, you need to learn how to be a man. And him and Sanji both, but specifically Zoro's teaching Luffy to be a man. The fact that Zoro, he had presented that he's pretty much an agnostic, but he doesn't see people differently. His view towards women, like, there's a lot of things about Zoro as a person. I think we're gonna get so much more about him. You know, his desire, his drive, his training. It gave me that old Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Tien, and Krillin to some, you know, that old Dragon Ball where these dudes just put themselves through hell to achieve their goal of power and strength. You feel me?
No,
There's no shortcuts with Zoro. He just puts in the work, and so much more that I love about Zoro as a swordsman and just as a character. But I mean, One Piece, I like, gosh, what? I mean, like I said, we could move on because just One Piece, man, it's One Piece. Oh my gosh.
And for the final question, bro, because I mean, I gotta agree with Charles's Anime World. You went in on this interview. For the final question, what would you like to say to the viewers of this live stream interview? What would you like to say to people that might want to get into your channel? Any final thoughts, bro?
Any final thoughts? If you want to get into my channel, all right. Number one, I never cater. That's factual point number one. I never cater to any audience, to anything. I'm going to be me, and that's it. All right. I'm going to be me, and that's it. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to spit real talk. Keep it 1,000. Keep on, you know, just that. That's number one. Number two, I love to answer comments. I love comment section. Like, I love to interact with people. You know, I'm not this one of these guys, and I understand some guys, they got a lot of commenters, but I'm not one of these guys who will just, you know, outright ignore you. If you send me through, I may talk about, you know, I love to discuss things. I really do, as you can probably tell. There's three things that I can't stand. I can't stand ignorance, stupidity, and disrespect. Now, disrespect is, people don't know. Now, ignorance is simply not knowing. I'm cool with that, but chosen, you know, it depends on how much. But stupidity is chosen ignorance, and I don't deal with stupidity. Like, you choose to be ignorant, and you choose to come at me sideways and all these kind of ways. I don't play that. But with my channel, like I said, just wide variety. And you can, if you suggest videos, I love when people suggest videos. I may do it. And then, yeah, man, it just, if you want somebody who's just a down to earth, you know, everyday kind of guy, you can see in my videos, I just rock my natural hair. I don't, you know, lighting or whatever. I just be me in life. And sometimes I have to even, like, just like now, I had to talk to people. Like, you know, it's just part of my life. You will hear someone who's just like you know. So yeah, it is what it is.
No doubt. One to sign out, man.
Alright, y'all. I've said all I need to say, and till next time, thank you very much, Mr. Analog. Apparently Charles is gonna interview me some other time. I don't know, whatever. And yeah, man. Alright, y'all. Yeah, man. Support the 4th Division captain, the Muscle Squad 00. You know, respect this man. I respect the fact that, you know, he's even got a few years on me, and probably several years on me, and you know, he's bringing the passion in too. As like I try to tell people, like, this ain't no children stuff. Grown folk, you know. It's grown folks' business. So yeah, man. All right, y'all. Talk to y'all later. Peace.